icon. But this is no ordinary street car. This is a fully built, purpose-built drag car. This is a 1984 Mazda FB Series 3 RX7. One of the first generations of the Mazda RX7. It was a car that highly popularized rotary engines across the world, combined with unique styling and a lightweight chassis. It really had all the components of a fantastic driver's car. This vehicle came with a 12A twin-rotor, naturally aspirated engine, and it was good for making 84 kilowatts of power, which helped propel the RX-7 from 0 to 100 in 9.8 seconds. It was by no means a fast car or a drag car or anything like that at all, but the motor in it just loved to rev, and there was so much potential in these cars. Here in Australia, we were only limited to the 10A or the 12A twin-rotor engine. Overseas, there was the option to get the 13B motor. 20 years later, people now opt to put in a 13B turbocharged rotary engine from an FD RX7 into these cars. And this vehicle is no different, as it's got that motor in the heart of this car, and it's paired with a Garrett GTX 45 turbocharger, and with a host of other performance upgrades. This car is pushing out 730 horsepower and just the rear wheels. It's an absolutely monumental build that the owner has just finished building. Honestly, this car is destined for the 8s. I can't wait to see how fast this thing goes down the strip. If you want to see epic car reviews and more automotive related content here on YouTube, consider subscribing to the channel, and let's get straight into it. Here we go. Alright, to witness an RX-7 out here on the street is no ordinary sight. It's super rare to come across one, especially one that's been so tastefully done up. Built from the ground up, the owner purchased this car as a rolling shell. The boys over at ADE Racing has pieced this motor together. Everything on this car has been done up to an extreme level, and honestly, the exact mod list is super long, but to give it to you brief, it's got a Bridgeported, fully built 13B turbocharged motor. It's got a Hilux differential, billet axle, a 3-speed automatic transmission, and it's got a Garrett GTX 45 turbocharger, and it's making a grand total of 730 horsepower and just the rear wheels. Behind the wheel of this car, it's not what you would typically expect from an RX-7, and as you can see, this car is built with drag performance in mind, and at the front you've got some real narrow wheels up top and big drag radials at the back. So honestly, the handling is not there anymore. It's designed for the fastest of performance. So how does this thing drive with all that go? Let's give it. Oh my lord, this thing is so fast! You gotta build up the throttle in this car, and once you hit boost, this thing just takes off like an absolute jet. It's so bloody quick when you get on power. It's so good. You can hear that backfire. You bet there's a huge flame coming out of that rear exhaust. The car just has an immense amount of grip, and the power builds very linearly throughout the rev band. It's honestly taking my breath away. I really got to recollect myself, because there's so many sensations happening when you're behind the wheel of this car. First off, the steering wheel is all over the shop. There's so much play in it. I don't actually know when the car is pointing straight. There's so many noises and sensations as well. That engine is just rapping away, and it sounds so good. It's synonymous to that rotary noise, and it's just begging me to go faster. You really got to pay attention to the road ahead, because if you're not, you'll probably go flying. boosts at about 4,500 RPM, and it just pulls you right towards the red line. There's so much power in it. Honestly, to drive it out on the street, it's not an easy task, to be honest with you guys. We've encountered a little bit of the corners here, so let's just talk about how this car looks. The RX7 is such a beautiful looking car. It's very photogenic, and every single angle that you look at this car, it just looks so pretty. It's dated so well over the years, and I think almost all the generations of the RX7 are just so tastefully designed. This car, for the most part, is rocking a stock standard body, apart from obviously the drag wing spoiler at the back, and usually, in addition to that, it has a parachute attached to it. Now in the interior of this car, oh boy, this thing is as serious as it gets. It's got a full roll cage from front to rear, and the driver's seat behind me, it's a really nice thin bucket seat. But honestly, it doesn't really hold you. It's designed for the lightest of seats for that performance. We've got a bit of open road. Let's give it a hand, shall we? That blow-off valve sounds extraordinary. I really just want to keep going and going in this car. The cluster doesn't actually work. You've got an aftermarket microtech display that shows you all the diagnostics of this car. 4.5. Here we go. I really enjoy driving this car. It's not a chore, even though it doesn't have power steering. The brakes are not really that strong either. There's just something about it that invokes you to drive harder. It must be that soundtrack. We really gotta fight this steering wheel. Alright. Yep, this car definitely has no power steering. Doing a U-turn or a 3-point turn is pretty difficult, but once you're going, honestly, it's not hard. It just sounds so good. These rotaries are such epic vehicles, and when I drove that RX3, it really spoke to me because it was a car that was so capable. And this RX7 as well is no different. It's so much fun to drive. And it's funny because these are drag cars. Mazdas also make epic track vehicles as well. So whatever way you look at it, the RX7s, the Mazdas, the Rotaries, they're just fantastic cars. You don't really see too many of these RX7s, but the Rotary community is so strong all over the world. And if you know a Rotary person, you bet that they're an absolute enthusiast. The owner of this car, Al, is also very big into the drag racing scene. And when you combine those two things together, you get this crazy Mazda RX7. Everyone's looking. It's a serious car, guys. Oh my lord. Jesus. This thing just goes so hard. You don't even have a chance to look at the tack or anything like that. You really have to be so focused and switched on when you're driving this car because it's just so bloody fast. I've had such a blast driving this car around here today. I want to say a huge thank you to the owner, Al, for letting me drive this pride and joy. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. In the comments below, tell me what you like about this FB Mazda RX7. And as well as that, please consider subscribing to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Please take care. Bye for now.